Hello!
We're here!
It's Sidewalk Slam.
Yes!
I'm excited about this episode.
One show. That's all we have to cover.
We're talking about No Mercy.
We're just talking about No Mercy.
It's going to be great.
Oh my goodness. What a time to be alive, am I right?
Yep. No Mercy and the storylines that brought us to
Yes.
No Mercy.
Yeah.
It's, man, boy, SmackDown's a lot easier to digest.
Yes, it is.
Like, not just that it's shorter, but there's just like
the way
less
it's structured.
There's less like stuff. Fluff.
Yeah.
There's less just like.
Well, I think that's just a product of being like
2
a
hours.
full. Well, I mean, without commercials, a full like hour and a half shorter, right?
Yeah.
Because Raw runs at like 2.5 hours, I think, and then SmackDown only runs like sometimes a little bit over an hour.
I decided to start. I was like, I should really start catching up on Raw before Hell in a Cell, which is at the end of this month.
That's what I'll be doing this weekend.
We're recording on October 20th today.
Yeah.
And because so No Mercy was, I guess, like a week ago. Actually, I guess it was more than a week ago. Right, it was 2 weeks ago. It was
2 weeks ago last Sunday. So.
Yeah. Adam was sick briefly, and then
yeah, dude, I've been fighting this cold for like a month.
Kathleen and I are going to PAX Australia, so we're just like rammed with getting ready to go.
Yeah.
But right, because the No Mercy was on October 9th. Yeah. But the first segment in the Raw after Clash of Champions is like a 25-minute long Reigns Rusev rematch.
Oh, right. Yeah, I watched that. No, I watched that, and it ends in like a no contest.
I was watching it at 1.5 speed, and it was still a slog. Yeah. It was just like, this is the start of the show?
I think Raw is starting having like way longer matches.
Yeah.
I think, and they're trying, that's what they're like shifting, right? From...
That's a brutal match to like perform.
Yeah, 25 minutes?
Yeah.
No, this isn't like back in the 80s. This isn't like Ric Flair style. Like Rick used to have like hour-long draws with people. Like, but I mean, purists will say that was used to elevate people more. Because if you can go an hour, because he was the champion at the time. So if you can take the champion to a draw, that was seen as like, oh, you really took him to the limit, right?
I guess, but like...
like, he didn't beat you, but you didn't beat him either.
Reigns and Rusev, they had a match.
Yeah.
And then they had
the next night
then they had the title match, and then the next night they had a match.
That's just like, I don't know what. This is why I want to be there. Yeah. I want to hear what their reasoning is, because all we have to do is speculate. Like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Maybe let's open the show with Reigns and Rusev for 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, but...
Okay, but why?
It's like that Ryan Reynolds gif, but why?
Why? God, I do sometimes respond in our company Slack with "but why.gif." Yeah, just not a picture of it, just the text.
Yeah,
but why.gif.
But why? And I think that's something that. But again, we're not there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know.
So that's why I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
At these creative meetings and just see like. Because, I mean, for the majority of Raw, they just book it the day of.
Which is terrifying.
Which is absolutely terrifying.
Like, I don't envy that, but at the same time, like, there's got to be a better way.
I'm sure there is. But they're the ones making millions of dollars and still doing it. I mean, it's not as good business as... I mean, everyone's going to say, wow, it wasn't as good as it was in the 90s or whatever, but... Yeah. Man, they're still making enough money to run shows, so there's that. All right.
Tonight, however, Mattel and WWE 2K17 present live from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California, No Mercy.
Yeah.
They haven't had a pay-per-view called No Mercy since 2008.
Damn, really?
When, I was just looking this up, when Chris Jericho defeated Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship in a ladder match.
Oh, was that part of that huge storyline? That must have been right in the middle of that, because...
I assume so.
That was when, remember when Chris Jericho hit Shawn Michaels' wife?
Right. Yes, I do. Yeah.
I think that's part of this storyline.
And Triple H defeated Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship.
Jesus.
Again, this was 2008. So with the resurrection of branded pay-per-views, SmackDown is basically picking up all of the... It looks like Raw is sticking with all the pay-per-views that they've said, and then SmackDown is like, all right, what have we canceled? What pay-per-views don't we do anymore? Yeah. Backlash, great. Okay. No Mercy, cool. Great. What's next?
Armageddon, probably?
I assume they're going to get like the Great American Bash.
Oh yeah.
or No Way Out.
Yeah. Armageddon was in like the old. Was that the old December pay-per-view? Armageddon.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't think of any others, but
Backlash used to be the post-Mania pay-per-view,
Yeah.
which made a lot more sense as
because
storyline.
it was the backlash
to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
the first thing that happens on the pre-show
Yeah. Which I didn't watch.
is that you didn't miss a lot.
Okay.
Curt Hawkins
Oh yeah.
cuts a promo in the ring.
Yeah.
So in the weeks leading up to No Mercy, Curt Hawkins had
Yeah.
been cutting a series of vignettes.
It's just like
sort
the
of-
Chuck Norris meme.
Yeah, like
It's essentially it, right?
yeah, he'd just be like, this is a weird, crazy thing. Curt Hawkins.
Yeah,
right?
it's like Curt Hawkins doesn't do push-ups; he pushes down on the world. Curt Hawkins. Yeah.
And in one of the vignettes, he said that he will make his in-ring debut at No Mercy, which was him getting into the ring.
Yeah.
And
Has he had a
saying
match?
hello.
This last week
Well,
on SmackDown, I think?
certainly not up until No Mercy. He
Yeah,
hadn't. This
well, he hadn't, but-
He appeared, said that he did what he promised, which was appear in the ring at No Mercy,
Mm-hmm.
and then left.
So is he supposed to be a heel? We're supposed to hate him because he's telling us that he's all these great things?
I don't know.
I hope this is another Shining Stars debacle.
Now, do you remember Curt Hawkins?
No, I don't. This was after my time. I know that he used to wrestle.
It actually, I bet you it wasn't after your time.
Oh,
I bet
really?
that you just don't remember.
Oh, okay, well then I don't think I remember. Okay, well...
Curt Hawkins debuted on the main roster
Yeah.
as Brett Major, one half of the tag team The Major Brothers,
Okay.
with the other half of the tag team being portrayed by, what's his real name? Zack Ryder.
Oh, really?
They were the Major Brothers.
That is an awful name.
They looked like the Von Erichs. Like, they just had like long blonde hair and plain trunks, and that was it. They were just like, we're two guys.
When was this? In like the 2000s?
Oh yeah. Then the Major Brothers were repackaged. You might remember this as the Edgeheads,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which were just fanboys of Edge.
Yeah.
So they came out because they had the long hair already, so they just started wearing toques, so they looked like Edge, and they would come out and support main eventer Edge as like his cronies because they were just like fans of Edge. Then they were repackaged as Hawkins and Ryder, as just Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder.
Yeah. They were a tag team?
Formerly the Edgeheads. I don't think that, in continuity, I don't think the Majors and the Edgeheads are supposed to be the same people. I don't know. But the Edgeheads were Curt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, and then they were a tag team of Hawkins and Ryder. They were a championship tag team at one point.
Okay.
And then Curt Hawkins was fired, I guess, or let go in one of their yearly purges. And then Zack Ryder went on to get himself over with the whole Long Island
YouTube
IZ thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Curt Hawkins is
You know, I
back.
never actually watched any of that? The YouTube stuff?
I watched some of it.
Was it good? What did he do? He just talked like in character? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Major Brothers were in, 2007.
oh, okay.
They debuted on an episode of ECW on Sci-Fi, defeating Matt Stryker and Marcus Corvon in a tag team match.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Was Matt Stryker the teacher?
Yes. He now is
He's
a commentator for Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently he's really good too.
And then, yes, at Armageddon, the duo dressed as Edge interfered in the tag team match, taking bumps in Edge's place to help him win the title, thus turning Edge heel for the first time in his career, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I didn't watch a lot of that Edge stuff, but I probably should go back and watch
I'm
some
sorry,
of it.
Zack Ryder was Brett Major, and
Okay.
Curt Hawkins was Brian Major.
For some reason, I thought for sure you were going to tell me one of their names was Major, because that would, and I would not have been
Major.
surprised.
While I have this page up, I will just double check and tell you that Zack Ryder's real name is Matthew Brett Cardona.
Cardona.
And Curt Hawkins' real name is Brian Myers. So, yeah. And yeah, they defeated, at the Great American Bash in 2008, they won the Tag Team Championship from John Morrison and The Miz at a Fatal 4-Way, which also featured Jesse and Festus and Finley and Hornswoggle.
Jesus. That could not, no offense to the men in the ring, but that could not have been that great of a match.
Probably not.
But outside of
Miz and Morrison were great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry,
they were
not taking
also
away from Miz and Morrison.
They
but-
were also the youngest tag team champs in WWE history.
Huh. Wow. The more you know.
So there you go.
So yeah, Curt Hawkins cut a promo
And left.
and left. And that's it.
Then elsewhere on the pre-show, American Alpha and the Hype Bros defeated the Vaudevillains and the Ascension in yet another goddamn 8-man tag match.
Well, I mean, when you don't have anything to do with,
I'm glad that I'm glad that all the tag teams are getting airtime.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're all getting to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that there's only one title, so you can't not everyone can be in the title picture.
Yeah.
But SmackDown definitely, I mean, Raw hasn't been doing a lot with their tag teams at all. I can't remember the last time that Golden Truth actually had a match.
Yeah.
But at least, so at least there's that. But it does feel on SmackDown that it's like, okay, these guys are the champions.
Yeah.
These guys are challenging for the title, and everyone else can have one giant match.
That's definitely how it feels. Like, thank God that the Ascension are doing something again, because I loved the Ascension in NXT, and then when they moved up to the main roster, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna. And then right when they moved up, they got beat up by the New Age Outlaws when they came back.
Oh right.
Remember? And then they did that segment on Raw where all those legend tag teams came back and beat them up.
Yeah.
It was like APA, New Age Outlaws, and I think one other, but I'm drawing a blank. It was a long time ago.
I actually quite like the New Age Outlaws, but that's not a good use.
No, it's not.
For the Ascension.
Because the Ascension were in NXT, they were badasses. They were awesome. I loved them. And then they moved up, and they didn't really do anything with them. Again, I would love to be the fly on the wall in those when they decide what they're thinking, or what maybe they were trying something that nobody just saw. You know what I mean? Something didn't work. But anyway.
Yeah.
I'm at least glad that I'm hoping that the Vaudevillains and the Ascension can do something soon.
Yeah.
Either team, not together, obviously, but because they're both heels, but something just because they're just so they're okay. The Ascension are just like Legion of Doom or Demolition, or anything like that. But the Vaudevillains are just so much different.
Yeah.
And I just love it, and I want them to do stuff. I know there was a problem with Simon Gotch got in a fight with Kalisto
Sin Cara.
Sin Cara, that's what he got in a fight with Sin Cara, so.
And apparently lost.
Yeah, badly. Yeah. So, yeah, but I don't know, I didn't see it, so, but American Alpha are obviously being, they're delaying that to fight with the Usos at some point, because even leading up to No Mercy, American Alpha and the Usos had this little side story kind of deal going on. So they're still keeping that feud in the backs of our minds. Oh, right. Yeah,
because so in the weeks leading up to No Mercy, because, as we said before, Backlash, the Usos basically took American Alpha out of contention and got themselves reinserted into the title picture.
Yeah.
So then there was revenge matches basically with American Alpha and Usos again, and there was singles matches with Jimmy versus Chad Gable, or and so they sort of are, even though the Usos on tonight's show are up against Slater and Rhino for the titles, they're still feuding with American Alpha, which is cool. Yeah. So.
See, I mean, if they can do that with 3 teams, I don't see why they can do that. They can't do it with maybe 2 other teams or 3 other teams fight, maybe the Hype Bros and then the Vaudevillains and the Ascension can at least do something on SmackDown. Even give them 5 minutes of time or TV time or something, just to keep something there, so they can look back on it we had this match.
Let them talk a bit,
Yeah.
So we've used the term curtain jerker before. So let's.
This is
let's see
the most bizarre curtain jerker.
Let's see what match they're gonna roll out first to get the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
It's your main event, the triple threat for the WWE World Championship.
What was the reasoning for this again? They were going up against something.
The debate.
The debate, that's what it was.
Sunday night was the second of 3 American U.S. election debates. This was the town hall debate. And I assume that's why they did this, but they decided to run the main event first so that it would be over before the debate started.
Yeah.
Which I still think is an odd choice.
It was weird. When I was watching it, I'm just this feels wrong.
So wrong.
Yeah, it felt so wrong.
Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, John Cena in a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at Backlash, AJ Styles won the title.
Yes.
Defeating Dean Ambrose. This is after. So he beat John Cena at SummerSlam in a non-title match. He beat Dean Ambrose at Backlash and won the title. And now the three of them have been basically going back and forth over the course of many weeks, circling one another.
Which basically amounted to like AJ and Dean being sick of Cena's shit. It was basically like, you know what I mean? Like every promo was kind of like...
The promo on the Go Home SmackDown was my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to recall.
There was one before that where Dean and Cena really went at each other. And Dean calls Cena a part-timer.
Yeah.
And to go and film his like D-list movies, I think, or the TV show. Because he's on like that True Grit TV show.
He's on another TV show?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so there's a show called True Grit. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the reality show.
Yeah, and the problem with being an internet wrestling fan is you find this stuff out, and I'm like, okay, well, Cena's not winning the title.
Right. Because he's got to go shoot this show.
Spoiler alert.
Right,
okay, but Cena has to shoot a show, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to put a title on him because he's not going to be around, you know? But I felt like... I can't stop gushing about AJ Styles. And I just think he's the best right now.
Yeah.
On the mic, in the ring. I feel like there's everything that AJ does, there's like a real sense of urgency. And he believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
And this is like where building up to this, he decided, this is where he came up with he's the champ that runs the camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not... He says, "I'm the." We mentioned this last time. The night after Backlash, or the SmackDown after Backlash, he says, I'm not. I'm. John Cena's not the face that runs the place. I'm the face that runs the place. I'm the champ that runs the camp. And it's like, and they've mitigated
kind of
somewhat.
axed it. Yeah, they don't really.
Dean makes fun of him at some point for like, you're the dope on the trope. Or,
some of it
is like. You're terrible, basically. He basically just sort of rips on the terrible nicknames.
The weeks leading up, they all kind of had singles matches with each other. Because there was 2 weeks before Backlash, Dean and AJ had a match. And
Ambrose and Cena had a tag team against Styles and The Miz.
Yeah.
At one point.
Didn't Ambrose and Cena have a singles match?
Yeah, then Ambrose...
Because Ambrose beat him clean.
Ambrose beat Cena with a roll-up.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Styles attacked Cena after that match.
Yeah.
Which made Daniel Bryan come out and schedule Styles to defend the title against Ambrose the next week on SmackDown.
Yeah. And then that week on SmackDown, AJ beat Dean with a roll-up, but after Cena had kind of distracted. Well... Ambrose had AJ rolled up, and Cena got on the apron and was yelling something, and it would like delayed the count by like a second or two, so it gave time in kayfabe for him to kind of gather his wits to get out of this roll up, and then he kicked out, and then later on in that same match, or as Dean went to go and yell at Cena, he got rolled up by Ambrose and he pulled the tights.
Yeah.
Or pulled the jeans, I guess.
Jeggings.
And jeggings.
He's wearing jeggings.
Yeah, they're jeggings.
The jeans are not that flexible.
Yeah. And then on the Go Home episode of SmackDown, they had this great promo.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Dean and AJ are out cutting promos on each other about the match.
Yeah.
And then John Cena comes out and gets in the ring. And he brings the mic up, and he's about to talk, and AJ goes, "Shut up. Just shut up. Just stop talking. Don't say anything. Because we all know what you're going to say. You're going to say, you're going to make fun of me. You're going to rip on me. You're going to make fun of my hair. You're going to, literally he just describes a typical John Cena promo. It's beautiful because he's like, we all know what you're going to say. You're going to say this, 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 and this. And I'm like, that's usually what he says.
And he's like, then you're going to talk about how you're going to become a 16-time world champion.
Because that's the thread again. Because this happened before SummerSlam 2015. That was the thread, is that if Cena wins another world title, then he's tied with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And they didn't mention it for a very long time because he was the U.S. champion and he was doing the open challenge thing.
Yeah.
But the thread through this build-up is, again, this whole sort of, if he gets one more title, then he's tied with Ric Flair's record.
Yeah.
And so, he's...
How do you feel about that? fine, right?
don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, I think Cena's put in enough work.
Yeah, like because what happened at SummerSlam 2015 is that Jon Stewart interfered because the story he gave the next night on Raw was that, he didn't think it was right for Ric Flair's record to be in danger because Ric Flair's a legend and an icon and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Like I was
At least they gave a reason.
Yeah, I was like, cool, your character and everything, that's fine. I respect that and everything. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? Because wrestling is different now. Like, you don't get Bruno Sammartino holding the title for however many
10 years or something like
however
that.
many days in a row.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't happen like that. So, and the thing about title reigns is like during the so-called Crash TV era, the Attitude Era, the titles were changing so quickly. Like, if you count the number of reigns, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like the length of your combined reigns is I think a more relevant stat than the number of reigns.
Yeah.
And so I just profoundly don't care if Cena. He's probably going to eclipse.
He's gonna do it
Before Cena retires. He's going to hold the title probably like 4 more times.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen, and I don't mind.
Because I mean, like even in modern day wrestling, CM Punk had the last long reign.
Yeah.
It was like 300 over a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, which was amazing.
Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna ever. I don't know. I shouldn't say ever because never say never, but. That those kind of reigns are kind of out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially in today where we forget about things like 30 seconds after they happen,
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's funny. And then like, we're like, remember that funny thing a week ago? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
So after Cena...
Oh, sorry. AJ says, he brings on the same thing, sort of the thread we've been talking about. And AJ says, you're going to come out here and you're going to talk about how you're going to become a 16-time champ, and it makes me sick to my stomach that you dare compare yourself to an icon like Ric Flair. And I was like, ooh.
And then Cena's like, okay. And he like steps away from AJ and opens his mouth. And then Dean goes, no, stop, shut up, don't talk, don't say a word.
Yeah.
And then continues to basically give Cena sort of his perspective, which is like, that's like, it's cool, I guess, that you're, meeting Make-A-Wish kids and that you're this, great role model or whatever, except that you're a dick, like hustle, loyalty, and respect. Yeah. What hustle? Like the hustle you show to make sure that the spotlight's always on you.
Yeah,
like loyalty,
so
the
good.
Loyalty that you show to your friends that you just let get beat up all the time. Respect from you. Respect. You don't respect anybody.
Yeah.
You like John Cena is not a nice person, or like I can't remember exactly what he said.
Like the character John Cena actually isn't.
He isn't. No. And then the best line at the end was you go on, keep doing your thing or whatever. Have fun being the guy who plays John Cena on TV.
Damn, Ambrose.
He's like, I'm real, and everyone here knows that you are putting on an act.
Yeah.
And man, and does he mention the reality shows? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But yeah, so good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Cena's
like,
and this is actually I consider, like, I thought it was cool, but I consider it reinforcing what they were saying because it's honestly quite petulant.
Yeah.
Is he doesn't have a good rebuttal. He just goes, well, talk is cheap, and attacks Dean.
Yeah.
Actually, I know that like top 10 lists are like the utter dregs of internet content or whatever. But
hit me, Graham.
The folks over at What Culture do some solid top 10 lists about WWE stuff, and there was one that they did last week, which was the top 10 times that John Cena was a dick. Basically.
Oh, okay. Really? I'm gonna have to watch that.
And it's like the in storyline times when his character was an asshole, and his character is like he's a good guy. Unless it serves him personally to not be a good guy, and it's really interesting.
God, that's cool. I'm gonna have to watch that.
So that all brings us up to this match, the
Yeah.
triple threat: AJ, Cena, and Dean Ambrose opening the show.
Yeah.
For the title.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's obviously it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, they've been wrestling. Apparently, they've been wrestling this match on house shows for like weeks.
Oh, really?
So I mean, they've got
basically practicing.
Practicing.
They do that. I don't know if we've talked about that before. I think we might have mentioned it in passing, but
maybe. But
so a house show is a term for a non-recorded, non-televised WWE show, because they do Monday Night Raw, and maybe they'll do a special the night before, but it's not like they don't do anything until the next week, because they are always touring, and so they'll have like 3 house shows a week sometimes, depending on where they go, and you'll have the different brands. You'll have Raw and SmackDown or whatever, but because the shows tour, right? And so you'll have Raw in this major city, and then Raw the next week in this other major city. But then in cities in between, they'll do these sort of local arena shows for several thousand people. Like a Raw in like a university football arena will get like, I don't know, like 10
grand, somewhere around
like
there.
10, 12,000 people sometimes, and like the house shows will get like, 2 to 4,000, 5,000 people. It varies wildly. I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass. But because they're not televised, it's sort of like stand-up comedians using nightclubs to test material before they record their HBO special. Like you'll have like, people will talk about how on the latest tour of house shows we didn't used to know this before the internet, but it'll be like, at these 3 house shows, they've done X wrestler versus Y wrestler, which means you'll probably see that match on the next episode of Raw. Because they're sort of testing it and seeing how it's going to play out. And one house show crowd is not going to know that the crowd last night in a different town saw the same match. Like, broadly speaking, very few people are going to go online and look up the results for a house show.
I don't think I don't even remember seeing house show results anymore.
I guess you can hit
talk
Twitter about it once or twice. But
you can hit Twitter if you really want to, but even then that'd be hard to find. Like, there's no hashtag Raw house show.
They ask you not to film it. Obviously, people have cell phones. They don't ask you not to film it. They tell you aren't allowed to film it, but it always gets filmed. And so it pops up once or twice when it's sort of like, when people are doing, things like this, being like, they've had so-and-so and so-and-so fighting for the last couple of weeks at house shows, so, that might be where they're going with this, with this storyline or whatever. When the first house show I saw here, I saw MVP versus The Undertaker.
Wow.
They
ended up doing that match too, didn't they?
I think so. That was a weird thing to see. That was a weird thing to see. I can't
remember.
And Funaki was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Indeed.
We were right beside the entrance area. Yeah. He was like, "Hey," and we all 4 of us were like, "Indeed." And he wheeled around like, "Hey,
people who know me,
remember?" Yeah. That's also where I saw Batista in real life, and that man is as white as a truck.
Yes. It's funny how you watch him on TV,
and you're like,
"Oh yeah,
that's a big guy."
But then you see them, and you're like,
in person, and you're like, Jesus. The thing is, he's my height.
Yeah.
Right? He's 6'3", but you look at me, and then you look at him, and you imagine that he's my height, and then you're like, wait a minute, and then he's also 6 foot wide. Like, the man's a square.
Yeah. When I was at, I had pretty good seats at WrestleMania 25. I was pretty close to the ring, and that was that first Shawn Michaels Undertaker match.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I lost a $50 bet that night because I thought Shawn Michaels was ending the streak. I was adamant. I thought for sure they were doing it. Because it was in Houston, right? Like, it's in Texas.
Right.
And I was like, Michaels is doing it. Okay. Spoiler alert. Adam lost $50.
For WrestleMania 7 years ago.
Yeah, WrestleMania 25. Adam lost $50. But when I saw The Undertaker for the first time, I was like blown away. I was like, this man is a monster. Like, he's actually huge. Because every time I'd seen him, it's just on TV, and it doesn't process.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, you don't look at it and you're like, oh yeah, he's pretty big. Like, you don't get a gauge of how impressive these are. And like, house shows are always way more fun than like live events, because the wrestlers are given so much more kind of free reign. They can, they're not constrained so much by time limits and TV and commercials and everything else, and they can kind of just try different stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a really, really roundabout way of saying
that
this match was really good.
Yeah. Now, the end, or I guess not the ending, but what happens at one point is that
AJ Styles does that moonsault into the reverse DDT on Dean, and then catches Cena in a DDT and drops them both at the same time. I just thought it looked really great, and Styles nailed that because he's done that a few times before. Because the first time he ever did it was on Xavier Woods or Kofi. He did it to Kofi on an episode of Raw when Y2AJ was a thing.
Right.
Yeah, and he did that, like, he does like a springboard moonsault off the second rope and lands and catches the guy into a reverse DDT.
Right.
But anyway, that was one of the spots that I was like, holy shit. Yeah, but there's like a false finish in this match.
Yeah, Ambrose gets a calf crusher on Styles.
Probably the worst calf crusher I've ever seen.
But it's not Ambrose's move.
Yeah.
It's not his move.
Yeah.
But then Cena jumps on Styles and puts Styles in the STF. So two people have submission holds on Styles, and Styles taps.
Yeah.
The bell rings.
Yeah, I was livid. I thought that they were going to restart the match and Styles was going to be eliminated.
I thought that's what had happened for a while.
Because it looked like it,
because they did not explain what. So yeah, Cena and Dean are walking around going, "I won." No, I won.
Yeah.
No, I won.
Which makes it funny because they were both there, like right by each other.
Yeah.
Like they saw what they did. It wasn't like they kind of like pinned or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they were just they were sitting like right next to each other.
Yeah.
Submitting AJ.
So then Cena and Ambrose, the ref is like, no, this match is not done.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, I guess we're fighting. So Ambrose hits a dirty deeds on Cena.
Yeah.
But then dives out of the ring to attack AJ.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, AJ is still legal.
Match, yeah.
It wasn't until Ambrose that started attacking him because I thought that as well. I was like,
because the ref goes like this and he points at Cena and AJ.
yeah, and he's like, or Cena and Dean.
Cena and Dean, sorry.
He's like, keep going,
and
guys.
he's like, yeah. And I was like, is AJ eliminated? I have the same. I watch.
Yeah, it's like that's not how triple threats work.
Sometimes I watch pay-per-views with a friend of mine, and I always tell him like, if AJ loses, like I'm breaking everything in your house. So that's like the joke. Like if Bray Wyatt loses tonight, you better hide all your shit because I'm gonna break it all. So, but that was the thing. I thought AJ was eliminated from the match, and I was livid.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't. That's not how it goes.
Yeah.
Cena hits a attitude adjustment on Ambrose, but then Styles comes back in with a chair. Because in triple threat is also a no DQ, by the way. I don't know why this doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
Styles hit Cena in the gut and then in the back with the chair, and then
fine. That's perfect. It was actually awesome because AJ is a heel, and AJ is going to use because the baby faces are going to not. Well, maybe Dean would. You know, Dean's not a baby face in the traditional sense, but like Cena would never use.
No.
Even when he's been in matches where he's had the ability to, I think he always kind of like. Remember there was that match that he had with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30? And that was Bray trying to taunt Cena into attacking him with like different objects.
Oh,
that was basically.
That could have been such a good storyline.
I know, right? Like when I was watching it, I didn't know a lot about Cena, and I was like, this Bray Wyatt guy's awesome, by the way. And I was like, I was 100% invested in Cena like snapping, right? Because it's just like this, the way they told it, and this is one of the very clear, like making me fall in love with wrestling again. And this whole storyline of Bray Wyatt trying to push Cena over the edge because Cena is just like this.
But it culminated in Bray Wyatt being like, "What if you were bad?" And Cena's like, "Nope, I won't be." And Bray Wyatt goes, "But what if you were?" Nope. But what if you were? Nope. All right, I'm gonna push you to your breaking point. Okay, but no.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they all went home.
Yeah, the way they teased it, and then the resolution were definitely not as good. Like one was way better than the other.
Yeah, well, the resolution was everything that I said is correct.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So yeah.
So, AJ Styles retains.
Yeah, that's good.
You didn't have to wreck your friend's place.
No, I didn't have to smash anything. So everything was fine.
In contrast to the tag team division, they have more than one storyline in the women's division on SmackDown.
They do. It's good.
And the sort of major secondary storyline is that we mentioned Carmella turning heel some weeks ago, which has been great for her character. And she turned heel by attacking Nikki Bella, who is now face also. I mean, never really was heel, just got put on the heel team at Backlash.
That was an odd choice, but I mean...
Yeah, so they've been sort of feuding back and forth, doing a lot of the things where sort of like Nikki will be in a match with someone and Carmella will be on commentary, you know, like making fun of her the whole time.
Yeah.
And so what we have...
like, Nikki had a match with, what's her name? Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Because this is after Alexa Bliss has become the number one contender, and then
Yeah, it sort of ties in. Later tonight is a championship match with Alexa Bliss challenging Becky Lynch for the title.
Yeah.
And then this next match is Nikki Bella versus Carmella.
But Nikki and Alexa are having a match
because they
and,
don't like each other.
Carmella, that's it. Basically, it. Did she ever give like a vocal, like a verbal, like did she ever verbally say like, "Oh, I'm attacking you for this reason"? Because I'm trying to remember, and I don't think there was. It was never like, "Oh, you just think you're so much better than us."
It's that, and the sort of the like you're so fake, and you got your reality TV show, and she'd sort of aligned herself also with Natalya.
Yeah.
And Carmella was basically like, me and Natalya here, we're real. We're not we're not like you. We're not all.
So basically, it's just like
whatever.
I mean, it's just like what they said to John Cena, really.
Yeah.
Essentially. Okay, John Cena and Nikki Bella are dating in real life.
That's true.
Yes, they are a couple. So
they're living together, in fact.
yes.
At least
are they living with
at least on TV.
Daniel and Brie?
I haven't watched Total Bellas.
I don't know. So.
But they got a spin-off.
I did make a threat that we were going to start covering that show, but I don't think.
Do you remember John Laurinaitis?
Yeah.
The guy who I said...
Scratchy voice guy?
Yeah, scratchy voice guy.
Yeah.
So he is marrying the Bella's mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the show is
like
John Laurinaitis and the Bella's mom, and then Daniel and Brie and John and Nikki.
Yeah.
That's
house?
those three couples are the show. Oh. I don't know if they're all living in the same house. That sounds
Is Total
miserable.
Diva still a thing?
Yes, but the cast no longer has the Bellas.
Yeah.
So they got a spin-off, and then Total Divas is a... Huh. And apparently like Paige and Del Rio is like part of the storyline of Total Divas, which obviously they shot before Paige and Del Rio.
Oh, updates. Okay, did we talked about Paige getting suspended again?
Yeah.
Okay. Del Rio got stabbed in a restaurant
apparently
multiple times.
Attacked with a knife.
Okay.
He showed Instagram of his arm.
I didn't look at the picture. I was like, all I saw was stabbed. I was like,
Now, was it in the restaurant or was it in the parking lot outside the restaurant? And was it road rage or was it just a crazy homeless person? Or was it the stories? There's too many conflicting informations here. The whole... When this all shakes out, we'll give you an update on Paige and Del Rio, because right now there is far too much rampant speculation.
But I just think it sounds funnier when I say, Del Rio got stabbed, by the way. Like, P.S. Yeah. So that has evolved into something. Oh, Del Rio got released.
He's also awkwardly in the commercial for WWE 2K17.
Yeah. It's like Del Rio sighting.
They since edited it so that he's not, but yeah.
Apparently, I don't know if they took it out, but there was a CM Punk reference in 2K17. Jerry the King Lawler makes one.
Oh, it's just in the commentary. It's Chris Jericho is like, walking to the ring and Michael's like, oh, he says he's the best in the world at what he does, and King is like, oh, I think CM Punk would have something to say about that. It's just like it's probably a holdover
but it's still
from
like
old commentary.
It's so weird considering WWE's usual style, whereas like if the person doesn't work at the company, they cease to exist. Yeah. Right? So I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh yeah, neat. But anyway, Nikki Bella and Carmella, we really we really go off sometimes.
Sorry.
The match is fine.
Yeah.
I have a problem with Carmella screaming in the ring. It's really distracting.
It's like a lot.
She doesn't know how else to be a bad person, so she equates that into just screaming a lot. Yeah. Which is like, Nikki, you're useless. I'm better than you. And it's like, all right, I get it. I feel like there's better ways of doing this because it's not making me dislike you more, right? Just by yelling at Nikki. Yeah. Now, but I don't know if that's a problem of me not really invested in Nikki's character either.
Right. Well, it's also it's notable to point out because we talk frequently about how we love Kevin Owens, and he, as a heel, is a dude that screams at the person that he's wrestling during the match. Yeah. But it's more substantive. Yeah. When he's saying specific things. Yeah. Whereas Carmella is just sort of like stream of consciousness, like, you're bad. I don't like you. You suck. Yeah,
just quit, or something. It's like, but it's just like the way she's doing it too. Like
no direct insults or cogent thought. It's just sort of like the same kind of stuff.
You're bad, and I'm the best, and you need to quit. Just give up, you know? And it's like, all right, sure.
Oh, Carmella's move, her weird submission move, is called the Code of Silence.
Didn't I say that last time, or what did I say?
Dead Space.
Dead Space. Oh, yeah, that's what I said. Code of Silence, Dead Space. That was close, right? But hey, Code of Silence is pretty sweet. I actually really like her submission move. I really like it.
I think it's sweet.
The finish, oh God, how bad or how nasty is Nikki's forearm?
Yeah.
When she like shivers, the forearm shiver, I think JBL calls it. God, she looks like she murders people when she does that thing.
Yep.
Nikki Bella had to change her finisher
Yeah.
because she had neck surgery, and that's why she was gone so long. And she used to do this move where it was like a fireman's carry, but they were like the opponent's facing up.
Yeah.
And then she just drops to her knees when they're laying across her shoulders, and then that's it. They call it the rack attack. But obviously she can't do it anymore because
that's part of why she was injured, because it put strain on her neck and shoulders.
And it's funny because you don't think about it when you're watching them do these moves, but they're doing that like every night for 300 nights a year. That's like Hogan. Hogan lost like an inch of height from doing the leg drop.
Yeah.
Doing the leg drop every, like how many times a year for, 15 years or something like that. It's like you're going to lose some height. And it's just like I don't think about that stuff. And then when people mention it, I'm like, right. Yeah.
By the way, it's called the rack attack because the person's sort of like in like a kind of a torture rack style thing. Also tits.
Yes. Boobies!
In case that wasn't clear. Yes. It's not quite as on the nose as, who was it who had the move, the Implant Buster?
Sorry? What?
Was it ODB? Someone in...
Old Dirty Bastard was a wrestler?
No, in TNA.
Oh, okay.
I'm not making this better with the acronyms.
Implant Buster?
Some women's wrestler had a move called the Implant Buster.
Jesus.
Which was like a face, like you smack them down on their front.
Implant Buster.
Awesome Kong.
Ah.
Kong, of course she did.
Yeah.
Awesome Kong, a.k.a. Karma,
Yeah.
who is this giant, just Goliath of a woman.
She's a big lady.
And she spent her time in TNA just ripping through the Knockouts division.
Mm-hmm.
That's what TNA called the women's division, is the Knockouts, which, to be fair, it's way better than Divas.
Way better than Divas.
It's a pretty good name.
It's
If you want to strike a balance between, like, they're badasses and they'll kick your ass, but they're sexy.
Yeah.
Knockouts is pretty strong.
Pretty good. Yeah.
But yeah,
I was like, whenever someone said Knockouts, I never kind of like shuddered the same way as when people said Divas.
So the Implant Buster is, she would, I can't remember how the contrivance worked to get them into this position.
Yeah.
But basically, picks them up.
Like a wheelbarrow?
No, starts to pick them up like like when Sheamus gets someone into the
Razor's Edge?
Yeah. So it starts with them facing each other. The
It's like a powerbomb.
victim, I guess, bends over. So you pick them up like that, so that they're sort of end up back to back. So it starts like that, except you pick them up and their back would be to Karma's chest. They're facing out. They're upside down, and Karma's got their hands behind their back.
Oh,
they're just vertical.
Yeah.
She's holding their torso.
Yeah.
And then just goes wham forward on their face and boobs.
Yeah. So kind of like a Styles Clash almost. Like
a Styles Clash, but she doesn't step in front of the arms.
Yeah, like she just like keeps them in front. Huh.
Yeah.
But Implant Buster.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Sure.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was her versus all the pretty dolled up knockouts was the whole sort of, you're not a real.
I also felt like Carmella did a thing that they call, what do they call it in the business? The business. What do they call it in wrestling? Taking a powder. When the heel will agitate, or not taking powder is when they are getting beat up and they'll just roll outside the ring and just walk around the outside. Like something as simple as that.
Here we go. Sorry. The Implant Buster is technically a lifting double underhook face buster.
Oh, okay. So pedigree style, lifts them up and then just
style,
okay. Yeah. But Carmella did this, I think, once or twice in this match, which I always love. Is just like a heel is kind of getting beat up and they just totally cancel the babyface's momentum, just roll out of the ring
and just walk around.
Either walk around, pretend to walk back up the ramp.
Yeah, be like just like take 5.
Yeah, and she did this thing at the beginning of the match too, where she like slapped Nikki and then just like ran away and put herself outside the ropes.
Yeah,
because you have to break the count, right? is part of the rules. So I just think stuff like that. She's doing things I like, but it's just like the screaming and everything else. I think I could do without. But I think the Carmella character has potential.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
big
like
time.
the princess of Staten Island. Like you want to hate that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's really interesting. There's a backstage clip from Breaking Ground, I think, of Triple H and Matt Bloom, formerly A-Train, telling Enzo and Cass that they're going to be brought up to the main roster, and they're over the moon about it. And he's like, "Now, something I need you to understand is that Carmella is not coming with you, because we think that she has great potential to be a solid singles competitor, but she's got to stay in NXT for a while and figure that out on her own."
Yeah,
basically that just she wasn't ready for the main roster.
Yeah,
but now I think she's doing really good stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Especially since they turned her heel. Well, I mean, we've talked about that a million times. So anyway, I don't know if we mentioned, but Nikki wins. Rack Attack 2.0, they call it now.
Yeah.
Which is essentially the same move that John Cena does now, sometimes. He puts them in like a fireman's carry.
Yeah.
And then she just flips them over into almost like a big ending, like what Big E does.
Don't they go face down, though? Isn't it sort of like a modified face buster still?
Yeah, but I mean, Cena actually does that move. That like the exact same thing. Like
it's not the attitude adjustment.
Yeah, but it's not the attitude adjustment, but Cena does it as like his like a warm-up move, I guess, or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, Nikki wins. I expected that to happen. I haven't watched the SmackDowns after No Mercy yet.
Yeah, no, neither have I.
So I don't know what going forward these two are doing, but we'll see.
Rack Attack 2.0 is a fireman's carry cutter.
There we go. Yeah.
In case you're into the wrestling terminology.
Yeah.
The next match is the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
Heath Slater and Rhino defending against the Usos. I wish they'd just call them Heath Slater and Rhino.
Yeah.
I wish they'd just call them Heath Slater and Rhino.
Yeah.
They call them Beauty and the Man Beast.
Yeah, it's not the best. I mean, it could be worse.
Slater's if it was Tyler Breeze and Rhino, that would
great
be
with
great.
that tag team.
That'd be a pretty good tag team. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to call
Heath Slater
the Beauty.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad-looking guy.
Yeah.
But that just seems very strange.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Like it doesn't, and like Heath's not the kind of guy that his character doesn't care about the way he looks and stuff like that. So it's kind of confusing. How great is the new Heath Slater t-shirt? I got kids, I need this job.
I got kids, I need this job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about the Usos heel turn.
Yeah, because they heel turn before Backlash.
Yeah.
Slater and Rhino win the titles at Backlash.
Yeah.
Next episode of SmackDown, to massive ovation from the crowd, Heath finally gets his SmackDown contract.
Yes.
He's officially on SmackDown.
Well, I think somebody brought it up, and we didn't mention it last week, and I felt really dumb that we didn't. But the way that this when we kind of just glossed over the Heath Slater Rhino tag team starting.
Right.
And it was Heath Slater not having a contract for Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
And just being desperate to get
anyone.
He
As
needed
a
to get into
so
this
he
tag
could-
team. Yeah, he needed to get into this tag team tournament to win the title so he could have a contract.
Yeah.
And he ended up recruiting Rhino. Is how this whole kind of thing started. Even because Rhino had gored him the week before or something like 2 or
To get
1
his
or 2 weeks.
contract on SmackDown. Yeah.
So Rhino was just kind of helping Heath out, and they were kind of forming this buddy relationship. The Usos debuted new music.
Yep.
And a new look.
Several new looks. They've had multiple different takes on what their outfits are over the weeks between Backlash and No Mercy.
Yeah.
Like one week they were sort of tactical, militaristic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of like camo pants and a flat cap, like a
Wearing
Che Guevara cap.
Yeah, and then like 1 week they had like these beige I want to say dungarees.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the right word. But they changed their music into something way more like I don't know how to say it in words, but
Yeah.
that's it.
That move, yeah.
That move, yeah. Like a b-boy, you know? But it's awesome. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
I love the Usos.
they've been great.
They've been wrestling almost like a Revival light. They're not as obviously they're not doing as well as the Revival, but I think I mentioned it before, but people are noticing that the Revival are doing like the heel style, that old school heel tag team wrestling style is like in again.
Yeah.
You know, like it's something that, not that it was ever out, but it's just something that people are obviously taking a liking to, right?
In that back and forth that they were having with American Alpha on one of the episodes of SmackDown prior to No Mercy, they beat American Alpha for the #1 contendership.
Yeah.
So once again, Usos in the title picture at the expense of American Alpha.
Yeah.
So,
and even like Usos didn't really even have that much contact with Slater and Rhino in the weeks leading up to this. It was almost all American Alpha.
yeah, because Slater and Rhino were sort of in like more joke segments almost, which is fine.
Which is fine. I mean, they're killing it, right? Like, I'll watch those segments all day, every day. But yeah, like there was a singles match between, I still can't tell the Usos apart. I'm sorry. Jimmy or Jay fought Jason Jordan, and Jason Jordan won with a roll up. But after the match, the Usos attack American Alpha. They do that chop block thing that they've been doing to everybody, and then Slater and Rhino made the save.
Yeah.
The actual match itself was good, but I worry that Slater and Rhino keep wrestling the same match.
This one felt a little different to me. This one,
Really?
This one, Slater got a lot more
Offense.
A lot more offense. Like he was
That's
actually
fair.
in there for a while, not just being Slater who gets his ass kicked until he tags in Rhino.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, oh, Slater's still going, and he's
Still
actually
doing
like
some stuff?
fighting, which is nice.
There was one point where, because the Usos, going along with the chop block motif, they were working Slater's leg. Because now one of the Usos does the Tequila Sunrise, which is like a modified half Boston Crab, basically, as like kind of like their finisher, I guess. Because I think they're kind of like just lost on what to do for a tag team finisher.
Yeah.
So they just do like that submission.
What did they used to do?
They did the splash. They just did a splash.
Right.
Like, one of them did a splash, I guess.
Right.
So.
Okay.
But at one point, Heath is selling his leg so well that he's just crawling across the ring to Rhino to make the tag. And I was like, at least he like. And there's another instance of in-ring or match selling that I really liked that we'll get to, but it was the Swagger Corbin match.
At one point, Slater does give one of the Usos a power slam off the top rope.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah. The finish of the match, Rhino just gores somebody.
I'll give you one guess. Rhino gets tagged in and gores.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, okay, well, Heath got
Jay.
Yeah. So like Heath got in a bit more offense, but even then, after I watched this match, I was like, okay, it was fun. I didn't think Slater and Rhino were retaining.
Yeah.
There's not a chance. Not with the way they built this up. Because
what you would expect is that the Usos would win it from them, and then they'd be American Alpha challenging the Usos for the title to continue that story.
Yeah.
But
hey, man, like I'm fine with more Slater and Rhino.
Yeah.
Right? Like the storyline between those two is compelling, and it's interesting, and it's funny.
Probably Survivor Series, I bet.
Yeah.
Is when that will happen.
I think so. Yeah.
There's a brief clip backstage of Bray Wyatt laughing, but we'll come back to him later.
Yeah.
The next match, as you mentioned, is Jack Swagger
He's back.
versus Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Now, the astute among you who have been watching actual wrestling might be thinking to yourself, but wait, wasn't Jack Swagger drafted by Raw?
He was.
And he was. And in fact, didn't he have a match on Raw like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And he did. And then he left.
Yeah.
And joined SmackDown.
Which is weird because on Twitter,
yeah.
Daniel Bryan was like, hey, Jack Swagger, here are your contracts almost up. It's like, do they sign 3-week contracts? Like, you know what I mean? Because
Like,
that's
how
what it
long
was.
ago
It
was
was like, hey, heard your contract's almost up. Come on over to SmackDown. And Swagger shows up to admittedly little fanfare. I mean, the We the People chant is super over.
Yeah.
But Swagger shows up and
He looks a little cooler. He's
wearing like a backwards hat and
like
stuff.
jeans and a black t-shirt,
Yeah.
and he's like he cuts a pretty all right promo.
Yeah.
And sort of like, hey, I'm here on SmackDown and I'm here to mix it up.
Yeah.
You know.
The only instance that I can really
He's
have a
a
match.
former world champion.
He is a former world champion, so I mean, there's that. This is almost like I was almost as surprised as remember when Swagger fought Chris Jericho randomly at Roadblock?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
We were just being like, wow, Swagger's here. It's like he hadn't been on TV for weeks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was just like Jack Swagger.
I remember that because we were like, why did they send Swagger out to the Toronto crowd?
Yeah. I mean, Jericho still got them to boo him because Jericho's the master, right? Yeah. I can't even wait till we cover Raw because it's got better.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But leading up to this match, they had one match the week before No Mercy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what they did before that, though. I don't think really anything.
Swagger debuted on SmackDown on the September 13th episode and directly confronted Baron Corbin. And was basically just like, hey, what's up? You're big.
Yeah, I'm big.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you because you seem like someone who I should fight.
Yeah.
And on the October 4th episode of SmackDown, Swagger beat Corbin.
After Corbin tapped out.
Because he had him in the ankle lock, and Corbin was trying to get to the ropes, and he almost got to the ropes, and Swagger dragged him back into the ring. And then Corbin was basically scrambling for the... I said scrambling. Scrabbling for the ropes, and was like sort of flailing his arm trying to grab it, and the ref thought that he was tapping out.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
The ref called for the bell and was like, Jack Swagger wins by submission.
Yeah.
And Corbin's like, excuse me? I absolutely did not tap out.
Yeah.
And so then it got very, very heated, and then there was a match. It was like, all right, you two, you can have a rematch at No Mercy.
I actually don't remember. I can't recall an instance of that happening.
Sorry, not the ankle lock, the Patriot
lock. Yeah. I can't remember
the ankle lock is Angle's move.
Yeah.
It's the same move.
But more patriotic. I can't remember an instance of that happening in for a feud. You know what I mean? Like,
I've never seen that finish
reaching for the ropes, and the ref would be like, "Oh, he tapped." Like, I mean, it just made sense. I loved it. I was like, it felt kind of bad that they. I don't want to say wasted on this feud, but God, that could have been just a great way for maybe something that had a bit more behind it, like a bit more weight to it. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about this?
Could you imagine like a baby face, like someone like Sami Zayn? Yeah. And they're scrambling for the thing, and they're like, "Oh, you tapped out. Like, sorry, buds," and just being like, "No, he wasn't tapping out," you know. Like, but it happened to Corbin. So, sorry.
What did you make of the match?
I liked it. There was awesome. Corbin was working the hand. Through this match, and when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, he's working the hand. Can't put in the Patriot lock when you got no hand." What does he do? What does Jack Swagger do? Goes to put Corbin in the Patriot lock and can't because his hand was too hurt. Yes! It was awesome. Loved it. I popped so hard.
Take the strength away.
Yeah.
And by working the hand, we mean like he was like getting it caught in the ropes. He was hitting it against the mat. He was just stepping on the hand, and Swagger's like, damn it! He's like shaking his hand out, and then he goes
when
to the Patriot lock, and he can't get the twist because his hand is so.
Because like usually they do it kind of like this, right?
Yeah.
And so he went to go lock it in with both hands, and he immediately broke it, and he's like, "Oh, my hand!" And then Swagger immediately does put on the Patriot lock, but he changed the way he did it. Like he just kind of like hugged his arm with the hurt hand. He just kind of like didn't use his hand at all and just trapped it and used his like other arm.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I love that he's like, okay, I got to figure out a way that I can sort of recover from this.
Oh my God. It's just like, why can't you just give me more of that? That's all I ever want to see in wrestling, you know?
Yeah. Corbin eventually gets to the ropes.
Yeah.
And the referee calls for a break. And while the referee is calling for the break,
he's like counting. Yeah, he's like doing like the rope break count.
Yeah, and so he sort of gets distracted, and Corbin jabs Swagger in the eye.
Yeah.
And then Swagger's like, damn it. And then Corbin hits the end of days on Swagger and wins the match.
Is the end of days the best finisher in wrestling right now?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty awesome. It looks even, I wanted to say more awesomer, but it looks even better when it's done on a guy like that's Corbin's size too, because it just looks more impressive.
I do like the Grand Amplitude. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. That's tag team wrestling, Grand. Come on. Yeah, we're talking singles here.
Next up is honestly the match that I was the most excited for going into this, which is The Miz defending his Intercontinental title against Dolph Ziggler, with the caveat that if Dolph Ziggler loses, he's done with wrestling.
Yeah.
He's going to leave the company.
Yeah. Career versus title.
Career versus title.
I was 100% convinced that Ziggler was losing this match.
Well, he did a really good job
Yeah.
of... did you see him tweeting a couple days before No
I
Mercy?
didn't.
He's like, after Sunday, please direct all booking requests to my agent, and like put like the email address for his agent.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Ziggler loves working Twitter. He
Yeah.
loves like just making people not know what to believe on social media.
Oh my God. Okay, well, let's rewind. After Backlash, The Miz had cheated to win. Maurice sprayed Dolph in the eyes with something. And Miz hits the skull-crushing finale, and then he retains his title. So, on the weeks leading up to it, Ziggler just keeps trying to get a rematch.
Yeah, and they have a rematch on SmackDown, which Miz wins by Miz using the spray. On Ziggler.
Yeah.
And so Ziggler's then basically trying to get a fair fight out of him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like, no managers, no Maurice, no other people, no pepper spray, whatever.
Isn't this the promo where he's like, no stunt doubles?
Yes, he does say no stunt doubles, which I like. Little Damien Mizdow shout out.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Or Aaron Rex.
Yeah.
TNA champion.
TNA Grand Champion.
Yeah.
That's different than the World Champion.
Right.
Don't get me... Which they use like an old... Like a boxing... Like a UFC rating system for the match. That's how they decide the winner.
What?
Yeah. Like they do 3 rounds.
What?
And then... Okay, all right. They do 3 rounds and they are judged on the round. Like it's like for like, successful strikes. And I mean, it's wrestling. It's still planned out, but... That's how, and then
stupid.
So they do it like, and I think Aaron Rex, aka Damien Sandown, at Bound for Glory, beat Eddie Edwards, who is one half of the American Wolves, 30-27 after the scorecards.
By the time you hear this episode, TNA might have gone bankrupt. That's not a joke. That's just...
Yeah. Oh, so Eddie Edwards goes on to winning the world title.
Wait, what?
At a taping. Because they tape, TNA tapes like months in advance.
Okay.
So the stuff that's airing in December like has already happened.
Okay. So then...
because we're going too deep down the rabbit hole. It doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, it's fun to talk about sometimes.
Yeah. So Ziggler is...
TNA Grand Champion.
Ziggler is like, you cheated. To win. And I love this response from The Miz, because he doesn't say, I didn't cheat. He doesn't actually go, no, I didn't. Yeah. He just says, do you think the history books are going to say that I cheated? Yeah. No, they're going to say I won the match.
Yeah.
So...
Because, I mean, like, if you look at Wikipedia pages, doesn't it just say, like, Miz defeats...
It sure does.
It just says, like, Miz defeats Ziggler.
Yep. It doesn't matter how you get there. It does not matter.
Fuck, Miz, why are you so good?
So he's like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I don't care. You're a loser. All you do is lose. It doesn't matter. Goodbye. I'm not giving you another title shot.
Yeah.
And Ziggler says, what if I put my career on the line?
And Miz's response was awesome. He was like, squeeze me? Like he did he stopped.
He's
and was like,
whoa, hang on.
Whoa, wait a second.
Like, now you have my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, you had my attention, now you have my interest.
That's what it was.
Yeah. He's like, what? Sorry, come again?
Sorry, what? Yeah.
You're what now? Like if I beat you at No Mercy, then I become the champion, and if you beat me, then I leave.
The promo by Ziggler too was awesome. Just talking about like, people say like, why do you keep coming back? Like, why do you? And he's like, I don't know. It's like an addiction.
Yeah.
I just can't stop coming back.
Wrestling's all I have.
It's all I have. It's I come here 300 nights a year. I'm here performing. And it's the thing I love to do. And everyone always tells me like, you're being misused and you're wasting your time and you should go somewhere where you're appreciated. And it's like, I can't. I gotta keep coming back. Mm-hmm. And if I can't beat you, like my career means nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why he ends up putting his career on the line. God damn.
So Miz accepts.
Yeah.
He's like, all right,
sure.
You'll lose and then you'll be gone forever. And,
This was like 2 weeks before?
Yeah.
No Mercy.
And so then on the following week, they have an episode of Miz TV,
Yeah.
which is Miz's in-ring interview segment, where he plays Miz a trailer for, and this is not true, but he plays Ziggler a trailer for an upcoming episode of WWE 24, which is the documentary series that they do on the network. About Dolph Ziggler. And so it's presented as if it's a real trailer for an episode of WWE 24, but it's not.
So
but
good.
it's called, what's it called? It's called like Dolph Ziggler like failing upwards or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's basically it's presented it's all of his most embarrassing moments presented as if like, you know, like the ongoing litany of failures of Dolph Ziggler, basically.
Yeah. Which we've brought up on this podcast before, like he was the golfer.
Yeah.
And then he was in the Spirit Squad.
Yeah. And so he presents it as if the WWE is making a documentary about how much Ziggler sucks.
Which, you know what? If they actually did something like that, I wouldn't be
It'd
surprised.
be pretty funny, yeah.
The way that they... Because, like, this whole storyline was almost an accidental payoff for how they booked Ziggler pre-split.
Yeah.
Because Ziggler didn't win. When was the last time Ziggler won a feud?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And so his endless matches with Baron Corbin on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, before that, it was like, yeah. And then, like, there was the shining moment where Ziggler was the lone survivor in Survivor Series 2014, question mark?
Yeah.
When Sting,
That was amazing.
and everyone was like, wow, they're pushing Ziggler. This is it, finally. Like, Ziggler's going to get pushed. And then there was, like, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ziggler that was the Raw after Ziggler got a world title shot against Triple H. Because Triple H was the champion.
Right. Yes.
Was that? No, wait. I think I'm misordering things. That was way later.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right. All right. Anyway. But yeah, they basically just the way they had booked Ziggler leading up to this feud, even I think they did it on purpose as far as Ziggler losing to Ambrose and then Ziggler losing again to Miz was like, this was engineered.
I think so, yeah.
Like that part was part of this storyline.
Yeah.
But the stuff before that was it just helped work it in because everyone's like, wow, Ziggler always loses. Like,
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
So after showing this trailer of Ziggler failing, Miz introduces the Spirit Squad, or at least two members of the Spirit Squad, Kenny and Mikey.
Yeah.
Kenny Dykstra and Mikey Mondo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, Michael Brendley, but Mike Mondo is his Mikey from the Spirit. Two people from the Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
Johnny retired from professional wrestling in 2008, and Mitch is pursuing a career in MMA.
Huh.
If you're interested, why they weren't there.
Yeah.
But so the two members of Spirit Squad they could get, Kenny and Mikey, come out and they're like, "Hey, Dolph, how's it going?
Yeah.
You know, give me a D, give me an O. Oh, you know, and like, what's it spell? Loser. Or I can't remember what they did, but they were like, you know, they were like trying to be like, hey, buddy, and then basically being like, you suck, and then they attacked him.
Yeah.
And beat him up, but he fights
back.
He fought them off pretty well because
he super kicks both.
The idea is that they kind of suck.
Yeah. They're like the goons, like
they're like the putties on.
Yeah,
Power
they're like the
Rangers.
putties, or they're kind of like Noble and
Noble and Mercury.
Mercury, before Mercury got his ribs shattered by Brock Lesnar.
He's had a bad run. Of injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Spirit Squad come back.
Yeah, the Spirit Squad come back, and it was kind of cool because I meant, like, again, the first time I heard of the Spirit Squad was on this podcast because I was like, I don't know, like it's not something that people talk about
a lot.
Fondly, or you know what I mean? Like people don't remember the Spirit Squad storyline. It was great. You know, like top 10 storylines. Number 2, Spirit Squad.
You know what's funny is after the Spirit Squad disbanded.
Didn't Spirit Squad feud with DX? That was a thing, right?
They sure did. After they disbanded, some of them were released. Some of them were sent back down to the developmental territory. And Kenny Dykstra was the one that stayed on the main roster.
Why is that name so familiar?
I don't know.
Did he wrestle as Kenny Dykstra? Like full name?
That was his name. He was on Smackdown for a while.
Maybe I saw a clip of him or something.
Who did he have as his manager?
But after Dolph like clears the ring of the Spirit Squad, Miz tries to get in and give him a skull crossing finale. Dolph reverses it, and then Miz retreats.
Mm-hmm. And then that brings us to
This match.
This match.
I was convinced. I was like, there's no way, the way that they've set this up is like Dolph's not winning.
Yeah.
And throughout the match, which was very good.
Yes.
I think this could be a match. I'm going to have to go back and watch this match again because I need to know if it's in match of the year contention or not. I think it is just for the storyline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as taken as a whole. But there were moments where, so the Spirit Squad ended up coming out.
Yeah.
And interrupting, and I was like, wow, that's it, it's over. You know, like that's how he's going to lose, right? Nope. Dolph kicks out. He gets sprayed by Maurice.
Yep.
Nope. Doesn't get pinned.
And the ref says, to the Spirit Squad of Maurice, like, you and you and you, get out.
You're out of here. Yeah. And that, I guess at that point was when I was like, oh, he is winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where I kind of turned. He's got a shot to do it.
How loud was the crowd for this match?
Oh my God, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Even a "Let's Go Miz" chant. Like, are you serious right now? Like, that's how badly the Miz is killing it.
Yeah.
Like, the Miz, we all boo the Miz and stuff, but I haven't really heard a dueling Miz chant. Like, because usually it's like, just let's go. Like, it's a "Let's Go Ziggler," and there was a very, not as loud, but there's still a "Let's Go Miz" chant.
Yeah.
And the Miz just plays. What more can we say about the Miz?
Well, following on to his altercation with Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack, which we did talk about.
Yeah.
In this match, he does the.
I forgot about this.
He does the yes.
Yeah.
He does a yes chant, and he does the kicks.
Yeah.
The
he does
Daniel Bryan
yes
kicks.
I thought actually after he did that, I was like, is Daniel Bryan coming down in
Right.
this match? You know what I mean? But I was like, nah, that's stupid. He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
And he didn't. Miz finally ends up hitting a super kick.
Or Ziggler.
Ziggler, sorry.
Yeah,
Ziggler finally.
as the other three are being ejected,
Yeah.
Miz sort of watches them leave and then turns around into a super kick.
Yeah.
From Ziggler, just takes Miz's head clean off.
Yeah.
Just boom, and then that's the pin.
And Miz
Miz
Ziggler
wins.
won?
Just Ziggler wins. Sorry.
Wins?
I'm so excited.
We were so excited. We were so blown away. I was like,
Dolph Ziggler is not fired.
this match, if you haven't seen this match, go back and watch
very
it.
good
It's
match.
very good, and the storyline culminates perfectly, and they use all the stuff that they've talked about in the weeks leading up to this, like the spray and the Spirit Squad, and Ziggler finding a way to, you know, finally win the big match, you know?
I like that there's a lot of instances in this match of using other wrestlers.
Oh, Miz takes the turnbuckle off at one point, and we've talked about this before, but the person to take the turnbuckle off is usually the person that ends up hitting it, and Miz ends up hitting.
But I just like, at one point, Miz used the figure 4, Ziggler used the Stinger Splash, and the Rough Rider.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just like sort of, and they called it that too. I just like, it's like key signature moves of other wrestlers. I just thought it was really interesting.
I felt like, and Miz taking, good thing I remembered the turnbuckle thing, because it added a sense of urgency to the fight too. Because it was like, even when he took that turnbuckle off, I was convinced Ziggler was losing this match.
Yeah.
And so Miz's 100 and, I don't know, it was like 90 days or something.
Like that.
Since
the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah, the night after WrestleMania is when he won it. God, it feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
Right? And I think I even said the pop when Miz loses that title is going to be huge, and I think they did it with the right person and the right storyline.
Because the crowd was on their feet, so loud.
Yeah.
You know, like, this was probably the best match of the night, but it was definitely the match that the crowd was the most invested in.
Yeah.
Because they did a great job from a storyline.
Because the storyline was good. Yeah. Funny how that works out, right? The storyline's good. Yeah, who would have thought? So yeah, I keep wanting to say Miz. Ziggler is your new Intercontinental Champion.
So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've heard like a couple things, but
you've got to. After these couple months, I have faith in the Smackdown writing team, but like they've got to make it so that it's not just like, so that that's not the end of the good writing, right? Like, Ziggler's champion now, so now he's got to do stuff with the belt so that we still care.
Yeah.
So,
which I think will be. Do you think they're going to do a one more for Miz and Ziggler? Probably?
I don't know.
Because Survivor Series the next SmackDown pay-per-view too? Or
Yeah, and it's co-branded, isn't it?
Yeah, it's co-brand, but
so we'll see.
We're gonna get Brock Lesnar and Goldberg.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
later.
Next episode.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is heading down to the ring for her championship match against Becky Lynch, except she grabs a mic and says she talks about Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon protecting the pathetic women's champion Becky Lynch, who is legitimately injured in real life.
Yeah.
Not badly.
It was like non-medical
Yeah.
injury or something. That's all they said. It was just like, oh, something's wrong. She had a nasty black eye.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, they showed a picture of her, and it was like, wow, there's no wonder she's not wrestling.
Bliss thinks that she has a hangnail.
Ah, yeah. This one felt kind of flat for me.
And so, well, yeah, I mean, it felt flat because this was not a relevant match, right? Because it was supposed to be...
No, the promo, I mean. Saying Becky had a hangnail, I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
You can do better.
Yeah, so Bliss is not going to have a title match.
Yeah.
And instead, Naomi's music hits, and she has a match against Naomi, which is fine.
Naomi wins?
Naomi wins. I find that odd.
I thought it was odd.
Okay.
I think it's just like them showing that anyone's a threat.
Right.
In the women's division on SmackDown.
Okay.
That's how I took it. That's my headcanon for it because
Alexa looks flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And by the way, she has amazing facial expressions.
Yeah,
so you
great.
can tell when she looks flabbergasted.
Yeah. Alexa's great.
Yeah.
She was great in NXT if you never saw any of her stuff. She's the best heel on that roster.
Yeah.
I don't think she's quite on Charlotte levels yet, but
the lead up to this match is sort of very little because again Becky was injured. So there wasn't a lot. I think the SmackDown immediately prior to this, I don't think much happened. But there's one point where Becky comes out and it's like, "Your new women's champion" after Backlash, and she comes out, she's got the belt, and then Alexa just steamrolls her from behind.
Yeah.
And is like,
well, Alexa
this.
wins the six-pack challenge to become the #1 contender.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess it was the next week.
It was like the week after, like 2 weeks before No Mercy was when she attacked Becky. I'm drawing blanks on really if they had much interaction at all. Not really. But yeah, so Naomi wins. I think it's just to keep the rest of the division like looking credible.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those people that even when someone loses, I don't think any less of them. You know?
Yeah, I didn't understand why. Because typically you would want to keep the #1 contender looking the strongest, so it would be like a foregone conclusion that Alexa would win this match.
Yeah. But I think
it's
just their way. She lost because they're keeping the other women like, hey, look, like you're #1 contender, but there's people out there when you're, out here talking in the ring, someone's out there training. You know what I mean? Like, while you were eating dinner, she was out practicing the sword. Like that old saying. So
then a video package runs advertising for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Which is weird only because Michael Cole is narrating it.
Yeah.
And so I got confused about what show I was watching.
Yeah. I still find it weird that even though they talked, I don't think they mention it anymore, the ratings thing.
Yeah.
But like, even when they were mentioning like, oh, we're going to kick your butts in ratings.
And then
they start advertising each other's pay-per-views. It's like, well, doesn't that, all right, sure.
It's probably a mandate from head office.
Yeah.
So, but the next match and the last match, and so I guess sort of maybe kind of your also main event.
Yeah.
Is Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that we started to talk about a little bit last episode.
Yeah.
And I edited out the part where you...
Yeah, where I just started talking about everything that happened after Backlash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was really good. I think that's why I just got excited,
So what spurned this on, Bray Wyatt wanting to take a piece of Orton?
I think it's just Bray Wyatt being Bray Wyatt, right?
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt was just like, Randy... Like, I want to fight you. Yeah. Bray's the kind of character that just gets away with stuff like that, right?
Right.
Bray is just like, I am here, I can take out whoever I want, whenever I want, right? And Bray just, seemingly at random, viewing it solely through his character's perspective, is just like, oh, I just just pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, this person now has caught my ire, I guess.
So they were going to have a match.
Because I can't remember, I don't know, I think that was the reason, it was just Bray being Bray. Because this was before Backlash, right?
Yeah.
Because at Backlash, we talked about Randy Orton was hurt from the Brock Lesnar incident at SummerSlam, so he couldn't fight at Backlash. They did a backstage segment where Bray Wyatt attacked Randy Orton, and he was unable to compete. Bray Wyatt fought Kane. Randy Orton interfered. Kane won, which was fine because they need to keep the feud going.
Yeah.
But leading up to this was a lot of Bray Wyatt promos. The one that stuck out in my mind the most was the one where Randy Orton was walking around backstage.
Yeah.
And he
looking
was
for
Bray, yeah. And Bray left him like these kind of awesome like they're written in like lipstick, basically.
Written on the walls.
Written on the walls, like all these little notes, like
it's weird how
choose
creepy
a direction.
it's weird how creepy the backstage lighting is at these arenas.
Yeah. The spooky stadium.
Well, it's like whenever they would show, when Kane was much more of like a recurring character, whenever they'd show like Kane sitting backstage somewhere and he'd be like in a room just
red,
flooded with red lights. It's like, this is a janitor's closet. Why is that light there?
Because it's wrestling, Graham.
I know.
And it's awesome. Yeah. But there's one part where Randy Orton's looking for Bray backstage, and there's like, I can't remember what it says, but it's like, pick a direction. It's like your fate
Choose
depends.
your fate.
Choose your fate. That's what
It's like a haunted house.
Yeah. And so Randy Orton goes to open one door, and it's a cardboard stand-up of himself with the eyes cut out.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. And so he goes to check the other door, and he goes to open it, and then he kind of opens it a crack, and you see Eric Rowan standing behind the corner, like looking all creepy with his
the camera sees Eric Rowan, but Randy
doesn't. Yeah. And Randy looks and looks and looks, and then he ends up closing the door and just walking away. And after I fucking loved this.
It sort of
so
undercuts
much.
the menace of the scene.
Yeah,
but
it really does. But I was like, this is the best thing ever.
The camera like pans slowly down to the door handle as Eric Rowan's like,
which makes you think, is Eric Rowan locked in there?
Yeah.
Is Eric Rowan too dumb to open a door? You know what I mean? Like, is he that much of an idiot that he can't open the door?
On a following week, there's a bit of Bray looking for Randy backstage.
Yeah.
And he sees there's like a hallway with his rocking chair sort of sitting just in it, lit by one light, and he's like, Randy, are you looking for me? And he goes down the hallway, and then from behind the camera, Randy bursts out and closes a sliding door because it's actually like a shipping container.
Oh yeah!
And he just traps Bray Wyatt in a shipping container, and Bray's like, and then you there's like a security camera in the shipping container.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, there's a camera in the security.
So you see Bray like wandering around, hitting the walls, and then eventually he just is like, all right, I guess I'm here now, and sits down in the chair. And then later in the show, it comes back, and you see Bray sitting in the chair, and he sort of is looking off camera, and he's like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I'm ready to come to you now. Or something, and like reaches his hand out. Then he goes to commercial and comes back with Randy coming back to the shipping container and sort of listening and going like, I don't hear anything. And opening it up, and Bray's gone.
Yeah. So I think it was Sister Abigail.
I assumed so.
Okay, so I don't think we've touched on this before.
Yeah.
Bray's finisher is called Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
Sister Abigail is this character that Bray Wyatt like worships or draw. It's kind of like Undertaker's urn almost, like where he draws his power from.
He definitely has mystical powers.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt has mystical. We could go back actually. The Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell.
Right.
When Bray Wyatt came back and they had like this cool like hologram thing in the ring, and that was like kind of like this was. I think this was even before Bray Wyatt. Remember when Bray Wyatt stole Undertaker's powers?
Yeah.
Yeah, because leading into the WrestleMania match. Yeah, because Bray Wyatt stole Kane's and Undertaker's undead wizard powers.
Yeah.
Wrestling's the best. Like just. I wish I wish they would just do more stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. But there was one, I think it was the same segment where Randy Orton was looking around for Bray.
Yeah.
And then Bray was like in this room, dark, and he's like cutting this cool promo, and then all of a sudden Randy shows up in the sheet mask behind him. See, when I was watching this, do you know when you're watching something and then something happens and you're not really kind of like comprehending what happened, and you rewind it? When Randy Orton started laughing, I was like watching, and then like Randy beats up Bray, and then he just kind of starts laughing like maniacally, and it kind of like does like a twitchy camera thing kind of. And I was just like, what the fuck just happened? I had to rewind it and watch it again. Also, was it the night of the pay-per-view that they do the mirror thing?
Okay, so before we get to that. So there was
Yeah.
also an instance leading up to this. I think this was after the Eric Rowan being stuck in a closet and after the shipping container thing.
Trapped in a closet?
Oh my God,
starring
yeah.
Eric Rowan. I pulled out my gun.
Wyatt's having a match, and I can't remember who he's fighting.
Yeah.
But he does this thing that he does where he goes into the corner and then goes down onto his back and then sort of pops up upside down and looks at them. And so he pops up like that, and then Randy appears on the screen in the arena with his image upside down.
Yeah.
And he's like, Bray, and Bray's like, what? And gets distracted.
Yeah.
And this is so badly done.
Yeah.
It's just the delivery is just like really stupid. He's like, this is, you see everything upside down. Well, now I'm upside down or whatever. and this is what I'm going to do to you at No Mercy. And then the video just goes.
I forgot about
It just
this.
like very slowly spins up to. It's like that's not menacing at all.
Yeah.
Just turns the right way up. It's like that's not. All right. Also, Mauro Ranallo keeps referencing Stranger Things,
Does he?
the show. Yeah, because the creepy world in Stranger Things is called the Upside Down.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so, Mauro will be like, Stranger Things have happened. Then, like he just keeps sort of referencing like the upside down world of Bray Wyatt or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so weird. And then, on the night of the pay-per-view, there's a backstage vignette of Randy looking into the bathroom mirror, and then someone quickly applies the Photoshop twirl filter to the reflection of Randy's face, and then he shakes his head and shakes him off of it. And I'm like...
I loved it. I was like, I want to see more stuff like that when Bray's like concerned,
When I was doing Video Art 100 in university, the teacher... we did like a rudimentary thing on Photoshop, and he's like, here's the thing about filters that you have to remember is that like, you discover a new filter and you're like, oh, this is great, but you have to realize that everyone else also has access to those filters.
Yeah.
So be careful how you use them judiciously, use them with moderation, understand that it's not as cool to everyone else as you think it is.
Yeah.
And if you use the twirl filter, I will automatically fail you.
No way, really?
Yeah. He just hated the twirl filter. So that
Did
made,
you call his bluff?
that made no. That made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
That was just Randy goes
Yeah, it's so good. It's just like, and then Randy shakes his head and he's like, what was that?
Yeah.
That was a twirl filter, you fuck.
Oh my God. So
Yeah. The match is like, okay.
yeah.
It's kind of whatever. Like, they beat each other up. I'm glad Bray Wyatt seems a lot more menacing now.
Yes.
Leading up from what we talked about with the New Day.
Well, he gets out of or counters like a couple RKOs in this match.
Yeah.
So he's like, from a beyond what they exhaustively refer to as mind games, he actually, can also hold his own.
Yeah.
In the match, which is really good.
Yeah, because usually, the stereotype for Bray Wyatt in any fiction would be master of the mind games, but when you confront him, he can't fight.
Yeah.
Right?
But it turns out
Bray Wyatt can fight, which is great.
Fight,
yeah. But the best, I really want to just skip to the ending of the match because it's the best part.
I agree with you.
Okay, so Randy Orton is setting up for the RKO.
Yeah.
And we get the Wyatt scream. There's like this, what it does, lights go out.
Lights go dark.
Yeah. and then is it a spotlight?
Yeah.
Yeah, a spotlight
in the center of the ring where Bray Wyatt was standing.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt is not there.
Yeah. But who's there?
Luke Harper.
Yes!
Luke Harper is back.
And the crowd pops huge for Luke Harper. We all love Luke Harper.
Yeah.
I don't think did we really cover him at all?
I don't think so. He's been out for a while.
When did Luke Harper get hurt?
I just don't think he was.
It was before we started.
God, was he? Because he
he wasn't in the Royal Rumble.
He wasn't at Mania with the whole thing with The Rock, was he?
No.
No, God.
Yeah, because Eric Rowan got beat up.
Right, Luke Harper's been out
and
for a while.
Braun Strowman was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Harper. Luke Harper is fucking awesome.
So he's a member of the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where they all sort of broke up and had singles runs, and Luke Harper had the Intercontinental. He was
the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, for a little while.
For a little bit, yeah.
And I enjoyed his. I quite enjoyed his run.
Yeah.
And he's big too. That's what you get. He wears really dumpy clothing because he's a member of the Wyatt family. He's got this scraggly beard and like really like wispy hair, and especially now that, well, not now, but especially when they were all there with Braun Strowman, who's a tower.
Yeah.
You know, you were sort of like, yeah, I guess he's sort of imposing. He's really tall. He's actually very tall.
Yeah.
And his in-ring work is very good.
Very good. Awesome.
Bray's probably the best in-ring worker of the four of them.
Some people would argue that they're pretty even.
Yeah, but
the difference between Bray and Luke is so small.
Yeah.
And Luke's like 37 or 38.
Is he seriously?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not saying old, but for wrestling,
He's 36.
36?
Yeah.
Okay. For comparison, did you know?
He's 6'5".
Oh,
Yeah.
so he's like my height.
Big guy.
Probably like 100 more pounds than I am, though.
He's billed at 275.
Ah. I'm like Luke Harper.
All right. Just like Luke Harper.
Exactly.
You gotta grow the beard.
I don't think I've ever tried. I think it would look too shitty.
This is like months of work. Like I just can't grow beard. I can't.
I've never gone like longer than this. I always shaved. I always just get pissed off at it. Anyway, but Luke Harper's back.
The secret is to stop caring.
You just stop giving a shit.
Yep.
But Luke Harper's back, and it was awesome. And the spotlight comes in.
Randy looks horrified.
Oh,
He's just like, holy crap.
Luke's doing this like this maniac face, and he does that face right there. It's so good. Oh my god!
Tilts his head back and moves his face around.
Yeah. But it's great because Luke doesn't touch Randy.
Yeah.
So Bray doesn't get disqualified, and then Bray uses the distraction to hit Sister Abigail. Bray Wyatt gets the 1, 2, 3. Yes. I don't smash all my friends' stuff at his house. Bray Wyatt wins.
Bray Wyatt gets a victory over Randy Orton.
At a pay-per-view.
Yes. So happy.
Send the fans home happy.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah. It was awesome. Harper
helps Wyatt to his feet. Was this a no DQ match? What?
Was it? I don't think so.
I don't know. The thing I'm referencing is like, then JBL reminds everyone about the no DQ rules, but there wasn't anything in the.
But it doesn't even. There shouldn't. I mean, by the rules, Luke never interrupted the match.
Yeah,
he never laid hands on anybody, so he wouldn't.
It doesn't matter. Anyway,
it doesn't matter because Luke is back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really hope that they start doing stuff with Rowan again because I feel really bad because he's just as good. But it's like it always seems with Luke and Eric, like they just don't really know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that there was like that series of tag matches that Luke and Eric had with the Usos, which were very good. This was like last year.
Yeah.
Before Luke.
I just hope that this is leading to a rebuilding of the sort of the Wyatt family as a force.
Yeah.
You know, like a group.
And I think if SmackDown's any indication, like will be the case.
Yeah, I'd very much like to see that.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need like the Wyatts to be a thing.
Mm-hmm. And that was No Mercy. That's the end of the show.
Weird match sequencing, but
Luke Harper and Wyatt stand on the ramp, and he's not mic'd, but Wyatt goes, follow the buzzards.
Yeah,
and that's the end of the show. And I was trying to pay attention to things on the episodes of SmackDown that didn't have any bearing on this pay-per-view, because some people, generally speaking, the feedback for the last episode was very, very positive, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And there was a couple people that were sort of like, this works, but I'm bummed that we'll be missing out on like the minutia of the episode to episode.
And I understand.
And I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible. But I was sort of like paying attention, like, is there anything that didn't show up? And honestly, SmackDown's very tight.
Yeah.
It's very tightly written.
Yeah.
And like everything on SmackDown sort of has a purpose.
I think we mentioned it last time, but the head writer for NXT is SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think this is proving that 2 hours is obviously easier to write.
Yeah.
Than 3 hours.
Yeah. So like there's no, like for Clash of Champions, right, we didn't mention, we didn't talk about the like Braun Strowman or Nia Jax squash matches or what was happening with Bo Dallas or whatever, because there was no payoff at Clash of Champions for it. So we just didn't really talk about that. Yeah. And so in this case, there wasn't much happening.
The only side story was
SmackDown.
like American Alpha Usos.
Yeah.
Like they were really...
wasn't much happening on SmackDown, that didn't have bearing on No Mercy. So,
yeah.
So yeah, the next SmackDown pay-per-view is the co-branded Survivor Series, which is in November.
Yeah.
The next episode of Sidewalk Slam will be the next Raw pay-per-view, which is Hell in a Cell.
Well, you were mentioning...
And I have no idea when we're going to be able to record that. Because here's the problem with that, is that Kathleen and I are going to PAX Australia. We're very excited to meet some of our Australian fans. Yeah. Finally. You've been clamoring for us to be down there. But Hell in a Cell happens on the 30th?
Yeah. It's like 2 Sundays from now.
Which is
next week, but the week
we'll
after.
be in Australia, because we're not going to go to Australia for a 4-day convention and that's it. We've never been. So we're going to go down ahead of time. Yeah. So we'll be there during Hell in a Cell.
I'm super jealous that you got to go to Australia.
I'm so excited for it. But then PAX Aus happens the following weekend, and then we come back, and then there's like 4 days, and then there's Desert Bus. Yeah. So if we can coordinate to record the episode between there...
I think we have to. We have to.
Yeah.
Like there's no, we just...
Yeah, but the chances of having it edited and out the door before Desert Bus...
0? Pretty close to 0?
Pretty close to 0? Yeah.
I know people, we keep getting stuck in these, like... It's just our scheduling.
This is a rough time of year.
Rough time of year. But summer was hard, but I just I want you guys, we're trying. And
this is great though. This format.
Just doing one show?
Because the one show, it still lets the episodes of Sidewalk Slam happen often, because those shows are more often now, but it also makes them a lot more attainable for us. And honestly, if it wasn't for us going away for like 2 weeks and then having our Desert Bus event. If you're not familiar with Desert Bus, by the way, please check out desertbus.org. It's a fundraiser we do for charity. You should please check out that website. But if it wasn't for that, then this new schedule would work just fine. But, But November is always just a complete shit show.
I'm hoping that this is easier to edit. You know what I mean? One show. Because all you're going to have to do is have 4 weeks of SmackDown, I guess, and you're only going to be pulling 1 or 2 clips from it.
Yeah, I hope it'll be easier in that regard. So that is it for Sidewalk Slam for No Mercy. Thank you so much for joining us, Adam.
Yes.
What's your Twitters?
My Twitter is @WakeUpSuper.
Yeah.
Graham Stark is
@Graham_LRR.
Yes.
And as always, this is brought to you by your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun, which supports not only this, but all the other things we do.
Yeah, like twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun.
The streams.
There are shows almost every day. Yep. I think it's every day.
Yep.
There's a dead day.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day there's a show on. So if you like different stuff, there's everybody. The AFK streams are good. Loading Ready Live is awesome.
Thanks.
Saturdays are great.
Yeah. I guess it's not just this, but either support on Patreon or subscribing on Twitch, because that's also, it's sort of two sides of the same coin, really. Mm-hmm. And if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription that we get as much money as we would if it was your $5, but instead you're giving us Amazon's $5. Yeah. So,
and I think you get a World of Warcraft hero.
And something for
Hearthstone. No, Hearthstone. That's Hearthstone. You get a Hearthstone hero.
And a skin for
And people are trying to buy that thing like it's going out of style. So you could probably make some money off of it.
Good call.
Yeah.
Anyway. That is it for Sidewalk Slam. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
And we'll talk to you when we can do Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.